That same week, after Olamma emptied the second calabash of money, she rented a new apartment and moved out of her old apartment. She also stopped selling garri at the local market and spent most of her time shopping for new clothes, shoes, bags, jewelry, and other things just to show the villagers that she was rich. It didn't take long before the villagers noticed that Olamma was rich. When they saw how she flaunted her money, the same people who used to mock Olamma and laugh at her began to flock around her. My husband, did you hear that Olamma, that poor widow, is now very rich? Ngozi, a fellow garri seller, said to her husband one evening. The same Olamma who used to beg you to lend her money? Ngozi's husband asked. Yes, my husband. It's the same Olamma. In fact, I was shocked today when I saw her at the market. She looked very different. Hey! I can bet that the lace she wore cost nothing less than 20k a yard, Ngozi said. Maybe God has blessed her. At least, she will stop coming to beg for money, Ngozi's husband said. Hey! Which God blessed Olamma? My husband! That's not even possible. I'm hearing rumors that she possibly did money ritual. It has to be the only explanation for her sudden wealth, Ngozi said in a jealous tone. Ngozi, I hope you are not among the people spreading rumors about Olamma. Why can't you be happy for your fellow garri seller? Instead, you are here trying to put down her hard work, Ngozi's husband growled. My husband, it's not like that. I know what I am saying. See, in fact, last week, I heard that Olamma went to some people's houses to beg for their leftover food because she was starving. That was just a few days ago. How did she suddenly get all the money she's flaunting? Ngozi said. I do not care, Ngozi. But all I can say is, mind your business. Leave Olamma alone. I have warned you now, Ngozi's husband said. Apart from Ngozi and her fellow garri sellers, there were other people who weren't happy about Olamma's sudden wealth. Each time they saw Olamma walking in the village with beautiful clothes, they would stop and gossip about her. One day, Olamma had just returned from shopping and she decided to walk back home. On her way home, she bumped into two of her old neighbors who pretended they were happy to see her. Ah, Olamma! Hey! I'm so happy I have seen you today. Hey! See how you are glowing, my sister. What is your secret, please? One of Olamma's neighbors said. It is God, oh! He is the one who blesses people, Olamma lied. If I say I'm not happy for you, then I am lying. I'm really happy for you. You are even more beautiful than when your husband was alive, the other neighbor said. Thank you, Olamma said with a forced smile. So Olamma, now that we have seen you, can we follow you to your house so you can give us something? We would appreciate anything, the first neighbor said. Oh, not right now, but I promise that I will give you something next time, Olamma said. No problem. If you say so, we will see you next time, the second neighbor said, and then they bid Olamma goodbye. Immediately they walked far from Olamma. They began gossiping about her. My instinct tells me that Olamma is responsible for her husband's death. She must have used him for money ritual. Then she waited for some years to start spending from the money so the villagers would not suspect anything, the first neighbor said. That is it, oh, my sister. You took the words out of my mouth. Where have you ever seen a woman look more beautiful than when her husband was alive? The second neighbor said. Look at the Olamma that used to come and beg us to let her use our firewood to cook. She could barely eat anything aside from that her useless garri. Today, she is the one parading herself like she owns this village, the first neighbor said. Don't worry. We will be here when it happens. I'm so sure God could not have blessed her And I know her secret will be exposed one day. I'm happy she did not give us her dirty money. I don't want anything to do with her at all, the second neighbor said. The reason why Olamma refused to let her former neighbors follow her to her new house was because she knew they didn't like her. While she was living with them in her former house, her neighbors were very mean to her and always treated her like trash. Also, Olamma did not allow anyone into her house because of the calabash sitting in the center of her living room. Several times, she tried to take the calabash to her room or a more private place, but it will still appear in the living room. About a month after Olamma became wealthy, strange things began to happen in the homes of the people she had gotten the leftover food from. When the native doctor told Olamma that he would channel the riches of the people she got leftover food from to her, Olamma did not know that the original owners of the riches would become poor, not just poor, but destitute. It all started with the rich farmer who gave Olamma a tough time. For some weird reason, each time the farmer planted crops, some pests would attack his crops just when they were ready for harvest. These did not just happen on one farm. It happened on all the 8 large farms he owned. As if having a pest attack was not enough, the man's livestock began to die mysteriously. In the twinkling of an eye, his fish farm, poultry farm, and other animals were gone. Every day, an animal or an entire pond of fish would mysteriously die. When the rich farmer began to experience his chain of bad luck, he believed that it would only be for a season. Unfortunately, in less than a month, he became poor. Things got so bad that he had to let all his maids go and he could barely feed well with his family. The same thing happened to the other 4 families from which Olamma got leftovers. Their wealth mysteriously disappeared. For those who owned stores in the market, their stores caught fire and others were robbed. Bad things kept happening, and before they could wrap their heads around what was going on, they were all poor. My husband, what do we do now that we have lost everything? Should we try and start a new business? The rich farmer's wife asked. Start a new business with what? The rich farmer asked. We can barely eat 3 meals a day, and you are talking about a new business. Where will the money come from? The rich farmer growled. Maybe you can talk to some of your friends. They will gladly help you. The rich man's wife suggested. Help who? The same people that have stopped talking to me? Look, my wife, we are on our own. No one is coming to save us. We should just be praying that God restores all that we have lost, the rich farmer said. All this while, the rich farmer and his wife had no idea that Olamma was responsible for their downfall. A few days after the rich farmer had that conversation with his wife, he bumped into one of his friends. Even though the rich farmer had told his wife he couldn't ask anyone for help, he couldn't watch his family starve, so he went to see one of his friends who happened to be one of the people Olamma had also gotten leftover food from. My friend, I was on my way to see you, the rich farmer said to his friend. Really? That's a coincidence because I was on my way to see you too, the farmer's friend said. Oh, if that's the case, then let's go to your house. I have something important to discuss with you, the rich farmer said, and they both walked to his friend's house. Upon reaching his friend's house, the rich farmer noticed that things were different. For example, his friend used to own 4 horses, but he couldn't find any in his compound. My friend, where are your horses? The rich farmer asked. I sold them. You will not believe me if I tell you that my life has been a mess for weeks now. My family and I can barely afford to eat, the farmer's friend said. I heard that your 2 stores in the market caught fire. I didn't know things were this bad, the rich farmer said. My friend, I will not lie to you. Things are really bad. I don't remember the last time I touched money with my hands, the farmer's friend said. I am going through the same thing. I lost all of my livestock. All my farms got infested with pests, and right now, I have nothing, the rich farmer said. My own is worse. Yesterday, my wife suggested that we go to Olamma, the widow, to ask for help. But she refused to help us. Look at the same Olamma we gave our leftover food to some weeks ago. She told us no and told us to leave her house. I could not believe it, the farmer's friend said. Did you say you gave Olamma your leftover food? The rich farmer asked in a confused tone. Yes, we did. She came to us and told us she had been drinking garri and she needed help. She even told us we were her last hope. So my wife packed all the leftovers in the house and gave it to her, the farmer's friend said. Hey, that was exactly what she told me too. And I gave her some leftovers too, the rich farmer said. So, she came to the two of us? The farmer's friend asked. Yes, she did. And it can't be a coincidence that we are this poor at the same time, the rich farmer said. Hey, it's not just us that are poor now. I heard Okonkwo, Mazi Eze and Adugo's family are also going through a very rough time, the farmer's friend said. Do you think Olamma got leftover food from them too? The rich farmer asked suspiciously. What are you insinuating? Are you saying Olamma has a hand in our financial situation? The farmer's friend asked. I don't know, but I will find out from them. If she does, then I will burn her alive myself. My friend, let me leave now so I can visit the other families, the rich farmer said before leaving. Just like he had said, the rich farmer visited the other families, and when he found out that they had all given their leftover food to Olamma, he devised a plan. As a young boy, the rich farmer had heard of fetish ways people could get rich by using other people's leftover food, and he suspected Olamma had done it. The next day, the rich farmer gathered the other 4 families and they stormed Olamma's house. That afternoon, Olamma was in her house when the rich man and the other 4 families showed up at her frontage, screaming her name.
Olamma! Come out!
They had carried big sticks and machetes, and seeing those things scared Olamma.
Olamma! You evil woman! Come out now! We know your secret!
The rich farmer yelled, but Olamma refused to go out of her house. After standing there for almost an hour, Olamma still refused to come out of her house. So the rich farmer and his friend broke down Olamma's front door. Without wasting time, the 2 men entered Olamma's living room to drag her out of the house. When they saw the calabash in Olamma's living room, they were even more shocked and furious. Also, seeing some food in the calabash confirmed that Olamma had done something fetish with the leftover food she had received from them.
If you do not tell us what you did, I will break this calabash now!
The rich farmer growled.
Please! I'm sorry! I didn't know you guys would become poor! I thought the native doctor would share your riches equally with me!
Olamma cried.
Olamma! So it is true! You are a wicked person! Hey! You came to my house and asked for some leftover food. Out of pity, I gave some to you and you used it against me.
Okonkwo, one of the men who also gave Olamma some leftovers, said.
I'm sorry, please. I also wanted to be rich. The suffering was too much and I didn't know what to do. Please.
Olamma tried to defend her actions.
I said that if it turned out that you were responsible for my downfall, then I will burn you alive.
The rich farmer said as he dragged Olamma out of her house by her hair. As soon as the rich farmer dragged Olamma out of her house, he emptied a bottle of petrol on her and set her ablaze.
Please! Please help me! Help me!
Olamma cried for help, but everyone refused to help. Some of the villagers who had gathered to watch the scene were even glad that Olamma was on fire. Sadly, because no one cared to help Olamma, she was burnt to death. The rich farmer also destroyed the calabash in Olamma's living room because he believed it was linked to Olamma's sudden wealth and his downfall. A few days after this happened, things returned back to normal. The rich farmer and the other families were all back on their feet and their riches were restored. As for Olamma, because of her actions, the villagers abandoned her burnt body in the evil forest so the wild animals could feed on her. The end. Did you enjoy this story? Tell us your favorite part in the comment section below. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Also, do not forget to follow our channel on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you.